Shemai! This is lesson 8 on how to read music on our bass ukuleles. So this is lesson 8, a continuation of a series of lessons. I'm using this book. It's Team Strings, Double Bass. I've used it for many years to teach double bass students, bass guitarists and bass ukulele players. I would highly recommend getting the book if you can. I'll pop some links in the description below because there are pieces in that I'm not covering in these lessons, and very often it comes with a CD which has got backing tracks and accompaniments. So lesson 8 is covering page 18 and it's an introduction to key signatures. There's no new notes in this today, but there is a little bit of theory that I need to explain. So if we look at the page 18, at the top of the page you can see the key signature of G and the key signature of D. Now just before I get my whiteboard out, let's just think about this word key signature. It's basically to determine what sharps and flats you're going to play in a piece of music. I will do another completely separate lesson on the circle of fifths at some point as a theory lesson which explains more about key signatures, but I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible today and just explain the basics. Right, I've got my trusty whiteboard. I'm going to try and do this as similar as I do it in school and keep it simple. So before we actually talk about the key signatures, those funny hashtag type signs, let me just show you the difference. Sharp, hashtag. Now there is a difference. A sharp sign has vertical lines straight and the horizontal lines at an angle, whereas the hashtag sign that you find on the keyboard has got its vertical lines at an angle and the horizontal lines are straight. Now, I do it myself. I quite often use the hashtag sign when I'm digitally doing music because it is near enough to the sharp. So how do we know a key signature? Well, the sharp sign will be placed on the stave, all right? And depends where the sharp sign is, it depends which note it affects. So if we're going to look at the key signature of G to start with, it's got one sharp and we find it here. Okay, being very specific, it's on this line. Now if I draw the note in, it's an F note, so therefore it's an F sharp, all right? All you're doing is looking to see which note is being affected. Now I've got to add at this point, we know that is an F, so every time you see an F played, if that's at the start of the piece, all Fs become sharp. However, it is all Fs. That is our low F. That would still be a sharp because of that being placed there. Right, I've left my F sharp in place for a reason because it always stays in the same order. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So there is our F sharp, and if we're going to look at the key signature of D, that has two sharps. Let's add our second sharp. Okay, so there's our second sharp sign and it's on this space. Let's find out what note it is. It is a C sharp, okay, because it's on the same space as a C. And again, it won't be just this C it affects. it will be all C's in the piece of music. So let's find another C. Okay. That is in fact a higher C in the bass clef. And remember, we are in bass clef reading bass ukulele music. So with our 2 sharps written on, basically all Fs and all C notes would be sharp. Now, in our case, on our bass ukuleles, that means playing up a fret. All right, this is what we've already been learning. We're not actually learning any new notes today. We've been playing F sharps and C sharps already. So obviously it's frets on our bass ukuleles, but if you were to sort of visualize a piano keyboard, our white notes are our natural notes and the black notes are our sharps. So the last thing I want to do now, whilst I've got the whiteboard out, is to explain the order of sharps. And I will mention flats very quickly as well. Now, this isn't meant to mess you up at this moment in time, all right? Some of this, it's not really, you don't need it right now, but it will explain things a lot clearer for a few more lessons, okay? The order of the sharps and flats, which I'll talk about in a moment, is always the same. So if there's 1 sharp, it will always be an F sharp. If there are 2 sharps, it will always be F sharp, then C sharp, okay? And I've taught this particular little rhyme for many, many years, and I get the pupils to write this in the front or the back covers of their books or if a bit of paper to help you remember. Okay, right. Father, there's our 1 sharp, okay, which is an F. Charles, 2 sharps. Goes, G sharp would be our 3rd sharp. Down, we're up to 4 sharps with D. 5 sharps is A. 6 sharps is E. And 7 sharps is B. Okay, so if I am in a key signature, let's just jump down to 4 sharps a minute, E major. And this is what I mean, you don't need to remember all of these for now, but it will help explain. Okay, I'm in the key of E major. All right, it's got 4 sharps. So it's going to be F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. And if I was just to write them up there, we've got our F, we've got our C, I want to add a G and a D sharp. All right, we're not doing E major yet, but hopefully it will explain Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Why is this one so handy? Okay, flats. Now a flat looks a little bit like a little B. Okay, again, think of it like your piano keyboard. We're talking about the black notes. Or if you're thinking about frets, we're going down 1 note for a flat. I have explained this actually in music theory, how to read treble clef notes. So it might be worth checking that out, okay? So back to this. Why is this so good? Watch this. We've gone from Father Charles goes down and ends battle for our sharps, and then suddenly our flats are battle ends and down goes Charles's father. It works backwards, and honestly, I've used this method of teaching the pupils the order of sharps and flats for many, many years. Don't let this bit fry your brains. It's there possibly just to help explain a little bit more. It might be worth you copying this into your books or onto a bit of paper just for reference in the future. Right, so back to the book. Hopefully that has explained a little bit more rather than confusing you. But if you're confused, don't worry. Stick to the basics. The fact that the sharp signs now are going to be written at the start of the piece in the key signature rather than in front of all the notes like we've seen it so far. So, page 18, let's look at Promenade or Promenade. So we've got our 1 sharp at the start of the piece. Okay, you can see it right by the bass clef there. The notes that we're playing in this piece, we've got notes on the G string and notes on the D string. So there's absolutely nothing new in terms of notes, nothing new in terms of rhythm. It just looks a little bit different because the sharps are at the start, not in front of the piece. So Promenade, I'm going to count us in, but I'm going to try and not count throughout it. Okay, I'll try not to say much. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm dampening the open strings just so they don't ring on. Rest, rest, next line. Rest. How did we get on with that? Okay. If you can't remember all the notes, if you've got the book, turn back a couple of pages and just remind yourselves of notes on the D and the G string, or go back and look at previous lessons. So your little lesson reminder of technique: pull the strings across the instrument, not away. And I do try and keep my fingers as close to the strings as possible when I'm playing. And, you know, if I'm using 4th fret, I'm putting all my fingers down. My pinky's only weak, all right? So Promenade was in G major, 1 sharp. Daydreams now has got 2 sharps, our F sharp and our C sharp. This one is on the D string. It's got a couple of open G's in it, and it's got some notes on the A string. So again, if you can't remember those, turn back in your book or go and check previous videos. And don't forget that little piano keyboard marking shows there's a backing track for this song, Daydreams, with the CD accompaniment. So Daydreams, I'll count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line, A string. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. So with any luck, you didn't find those too difficult. It is just getting used to now reading the notes without the sharp signs in front of them because they're at the start of the piece in the key signature. I'm not going to cover page 19 today. If you've got the book, there are some pieces, Mr. Foster's Round, Magnolia and The Old Man of Hoy, for you to practice. Each of those have got their key signatures written at the front. I do hope this hasn't confused you too much, all right? I am going to be doing a theory lesson on the circle of fifths, which explains the order of the key signatures a bit more. Today, I've explained what a sharp is, where it sits on the stave, and just given you a little idea of running through that Father Charles, etc., to give you the order of the sharps and the flats. So there we are, that's a basic introduction to key signatures. So that's the end of lesson 8. I do hope it wasn't too confusing and that it's helped. There will be some more bass lessons like this coming very soon. It's getting a chance at the minute now to actually get them filmed. So apologies for the long gap, but more coming very, very soon. I do hope they are helping as well. But as always, if you've got any comments or questions, please feel free, leave them below. Give us a like if you've enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.